Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, the investigation into the death of Lisbeth Medina in Edna continues. A candlelight vigil is being held tonight in Port Lavaca. And also this man has now been, there is new information on this man's case that he is accused of killing a woman, and El Campo police detective is now under arrest.
Quite a bit of cloud cover over the area as we're getting ready for the frontal system. That frontal system will be through here on Saturday, and you're going to be looking for your jacket because it's going to be turning colder. We'll have all that coming up in just a moment.
Our athlete of the week playing for a shot to go to a state championship game. I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia is on assignment. DPS and the Texas Rangers are investigating a possible capital murder in Jackson County. A 16-year-old Edna High School leader was found dead in her home Wednesday.
In this small town,
the most horrible way a mother could find her child. She was murdered in cold blood.
Jacqueline Medina is grieving the loss of her only child, Lisbeth, who was only 16 years old.
It should have been a great day because she was involved in the Christmas parade. She was going to be with the cheer squad.
But on Tuesday, she never made it to that parade. Her mother tells me she came home to their apartment only to find her daughter dead.
I lost it. She was my world, my everything. Everything I do was for her.
According to Edna police, officers along with DPS and the Texas Rangers are investigating what they believe to be a capital murder case. Police sharing limited details on what happened.
Someone dared to go in and just rip my daughter away from me. It just kills me.
Jacqueline says she feels broken.
I just want answers to why they would do this to an amazing little girl who never hurt anyone. Who wouldn't dare to hurt anyone.
Now, praying for justice for her little girl.
Edna Police Chief Rick Boone told the Jackson County Herald Tribune police have not arrested a suspect, but the department has interviewed some people in connection with the case. If you have any information on the death of Lisbeth Medina, call the Edna Police Department at 361-782-6522. Lisbeth Medina was a cheerleader at Edna High School.
Well, it's a definite tragedy for sure, and our condolences go out to the parents and her family. I know everybody feels horrible about it. I think we've handled it well. The kids haven't said a whole lot to me about it, but I know it's on their minds. But I think we're going to be able to have the focus tonight that we need.
Family members plan to hold a vigil Saturday night at the Cowboys Memorial Stadium at Edna High School at 6 p.m. The Coast Guard has suspended the search for Felipe Lozano of Port Lavaca. Authorities reported Lozano went missing this weekend on a shrimp boat in the Gulf of Mexico near New Orleans. He was working on a commercial fishing boat. The captain reported the incident around 2 a.m. Saturday. It happened near Port Forchon, where the Coast Guard had searched that area. Family members plan to hold a vigil tonight for Lozano at 6 at the Port Lavaca Bayfront that is going on right now. A pretrial hearing for murder defendant Fernando Acosta Jr. was reset for January 16th at 9 a.m. in Bay City. A new trial date of February 26th at 9 a.m. was also set for Acosta. He's indicted in the death of Amanda Johnson. She was found dead in a burned out 2018 Ford Explorer around 2:30 a.m. April 18th, 2021 in Matagorda County. The SUV was found near County Road 454. Johnson was 38 years old and a single mother of 2 children. An El Campo police detective has been arrested for aggravated sexual assault by the Manville Police Department with assistance from the Texas Rangers. The El Campo Leader News reports no information is available on the allegations against Sergeant Freddie Douglas at this point. Douglas was arrested at El Campo PD headquarters today and transported to the Brazoria County Jail. Douglas has been placed on administrative leave while under investigation. The recent vandalism at the St. Bernard cemetery outside of Woodsboro is still under investigation. Refugio County Sheriff Raul Pinky Gonzalez told the Refugio County Press the Woodsboro Police Department first received a report of the vandalized headstones earlier this month. Inset photos of the deceased were scraped off all 3 of the headstones. Authorities say the vandalism could have occurred as long as a month ago. The only vandalism was the missing photos. And now let's take a first look at your forecast. Here's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Mac, another fall-like day in December. Of course, it is still officially fall.
Well, yeah, officially yes, because December 22nd is when winter begins, but we're getting ready. We're looking at all the cloud cover that's rolling into our area as we watch to the west and see those 2 frontal systems. Those will be passing through our area on Saturday, and it'll be turning colder for the weekend. We'll have all that coming up in just a moment. Don, back to you.
All right, Mac, thank you. Well, a Texas judge has given a pregnant woman whose fetus had a fatal diagnosis permission to get an abortion. It's the first major challenge to the state's ban that took effect after Roe v. Wade was overturned last year. It was unclear how quickly or whether Kate Cox, a 31-year-old mother of 2 from the Dallas area, would be able to obtain an abortion. State District Judge Maya Guerra Gamble, an elected Democrat, said she would grant a temporary restraining order that would allow Cox to have an abortion. According to the Center for Reproductive Rights, which filed the lawsuit on Cox's behalf, the judge granted her request from the bench on Thursday. That decision is likely to be appealed by the state, which previously said Cox was not at any more of a risk than other women who gave birth. Seth Chandler, a law professor at the University of Houston, told the AP he would have concerns as a physician based on both legal issues and Attorney General Ken Paxton's apparent zeal to enforce the state's abortion ban. Now, Attorney General Ken Paxton says the temporary restraining order allowing an abortion will not keep hospitals, doctors, or anyone else safe from civil and criminal liability for violating Texas abortion laws. Paxton said the law provides for civil penalties of not less than $100,000 for each violation. Here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote. Here's the question. Do you think we will see more special exceptions in the abortion law? Yes or no? Let's look at those numbers. 85% of our voters say yes and 15% say no. We thank you for voting. We want to hear your opinion. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have an update on 25 News now at 10. The shooting spree that resulted in the deaths of 6 people in Austin and San Antonio has left a state legislator with questions. KVUE reports State Representative Vicki Goodwin wonders why the state's active shooter alert system was not activated in Austin. Goodwin said DPS told her it was not an active shooter situation, and the Austin Police Department would need to be the one to request for the alert to be used. Austin police said because it was not an active shooting event, in their words, an alert was not issued. And police have identified Shane James as the murder suspect in the string of shootings. KVUE reports this is not James's first run-in with the law. He was previously arrested for a domestic violence charge stemming from a 2022 incident, after which he was released on bond. Authorities say the very next day, on March 8, 2022, James cut off his ankle monitor, violating the conditions of his release. James currently sits behind bars. President Biden released a statement on Wednesday after the shootings in both Texas and Nevada. The president condemned the violence in his statement after the gunman killed 2 people in San Antonio and 4 others in Austin on Tuesday. And in Nevada, a gunman opened fire on the University of Nevada at Las Vegas campus. The president also called on Congress to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, as well as pass a national red flag law, enact universal background checks, require the safe storage of guns, and advance other what he called common sense measures that will help to combat gun violence. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us in New York. A judge finds evidence Donald Trump overvalued his estimates his assets. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, what Donald Trump has to say. Also ahead, vets scramble to identify a mystery dog illness as cases rise across the U.S. Donald Trump was back in a Manhattan courtroom for his continuing civil fraud trial today. Trump is accused of misrepresenting his net worth to the tune of billions. Trump, his company, and his 2 adult sons are the target of the lawsuit. Before entering the courtroom, the former president spoke with reporters about the case, which he called a witch hunt.
We did nothing wrong. There were no victims. The bank loves us. The bank testified. They love us. We did absolutely nothing wrong. We never even defaulted. We never had a default letter sent to us.
The judge presiding over the case said that Trump fraudulently overvalued his assets to obtain better loan deals from banks and insurers. The court is now working to determine what, if any, penalty the former president must pay and if his conduct may have violated other laws. A bizarre and brazen attack on a California street was caught on camera. Police in Calabasas are asking for help finding the man in the video, who can be seen approaching a grandfather walking with his grandson in a stroller before punching him and knocking him and the stroller to the ground. LA County sheriffs have identified the man as 29-year-old Angel Sanchez Jr. of Santa Barbara. It's not yet clear what led up to the attack or what may have motivated the suspect. Veterinarians across the country are seeing a rise in the number of dogs with a severe respiratory illness. Scientists at the University of New Hampshire identified a novel bacterium as a possible culprit, but some researchers believe dogs are getting ill with multiple pathogens at the same time, including canine influenza, kennel cough, and pneumonia. Symptoms include coughing, sneezing, and red, runny eyes. Many dogs will recover on their own, but if the dog has difficulty breathing or stops eating, your dog should be taken to a vet. A puppy in California might be a kitten at heart. She's going viral for climbing a tree despite being a large German Shepherd.
Cat in a tree? No big deal, but who let the dogs out? Who let the dog up in a tree?
I can't believe we found her.
Luna, the 10-month-old German Shepherd, was missing from her Lotus, California home all day and overnight. Her owners and their friends searched the woods. Luka Bogdanovich was driving an ATV.
Look left. I'll be darned. I see something in a tree. And I went,
holy cow, that's the dog.
He said, I got good news and bad news. I found your dog, but she's 30 feet up in a tree.
Owner Brian Spees, a painter, got his extension ladder. Was she happy to see you?
No, she was just frozen in the tree.
Though her wagging tail wasn't frozen. Brian carried her down the ladder. He figures Luna was chasing a squirrel right up the leaning tree, then got her leg pinned under a branch.
This is going to sound like a tree pun, but Luna didn't bark?
Nope, not even when Brian was calling her name and whistling. Right by the pine she was stuck in. Maybe next time Brian will be barking up the right tree.
If she ever gets lost again, we look up because she can climb trees.
Jeannie Mose, CNN, New York.
Very interesting stuff, a tree climbing dog. Anyway, folks, we're at 68. Even though it looks a little gloomy and dreary out there, it's overcast because the clouds are beginning to thicken up over the area. We managed to get up to 76 today, and tomorrow probably 78. That's because we're getting a strong south wind, but our average temperature is 69 and we'll be below that beginning on Sunday as a cool snap comes in for about 3 days. So we'll be talking about when to find your jacket coming up in just a moment. Well, I hope you enjoyed your day today. We were in the 70s. You're probably in t-shirts and short pants, and that's very unusual. It is December. In fact, actually it's fall because winter begins officially December the 22nd as winter begins. But 68 right about now, 71 in western areas, and we're looking for, upper 60s throughout the northern areas of the crossroads. The clouds got a little bit thicker today, even though we did have some sun, but the clouds are getting sort of ready for the next storm. Where is it? Well, it's not in Texas yet. We have to look out west. We've got a frontal system here and the stronger one here. The two are going to combine to blow through our area on Saturday. So we're still thinking we start Saturday warm, but then get rather chilly by the end of the day. Here's a future tracker, and you can see how the ridge of high pressure that brought us the last couple of fairly nice days has already moved to the east of us. As a result, the big storm is crossing the Rockies. It's going to be digging down into the Kansas area. And there you see the snow that might even enter West Texas. But as far as we're concerned, we're looking for this little brief line of showers that's going to roll through our area as the front comes through. This is not going to be a major rain event. What it will be a major change from a strong south wind to a strong north wind that you're going to feel on Saturday afternoon. I asked Future Tracker, okay, how much rain are we going to get? And consistently has come up with about 1/2 inch. So it's not a big rainfall event, and maybe even 1/10 to 1/2 inch, but that'll be blowing through here on Saturday. And then by Sunday, it all sort of goes away as the dry air comes through. Now, here's an interesting situation. We're down here. We expect that light rain to come through. But up here, which is East Texas, just north of Houston, you see right about there to Lufkin, they have the potential of getting some severe weather as that whole system moves through, and they get a lot more instability up there. So we're not in any kind of danger down here. We're looking at our temperatures for tonight getting down to only the 60s, so not exactly cold. And then tomorrow we're looking at about a 73 as a high temperature, and that should actually get up to about a 78 in the afternoon hours. So yep, it'll be another good warm Friday for you, but then the whole thing sort of changes on us, all right? 67 in the morning, 76 the high, partly cloudy again in Port Lavaca. And then in Cuero, we're getting down to 64 and 78 the high temperature. So it'll be balmy out there. Enjoy the Friday afternoon weather. But then we take a look at the long term. Mild weather for Friday, a 20% chance of a drizzle. And then here's the main event. Saturday, we start off with the warm south wind about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The frontal system will blow through, and eventually we'll get a strong north wind giving us a big chill. 30% chance of rain in the afternoon when that comes through. By Sunday, it's all cleared out. We're looking for windy conditions, a high of 60, strong wind, and temperatures dropping down to 40 degrees for us here in the city, but possibly upper 30s in some of our western areas. So just know that it's going to be getting colder by the time we get to Sunday. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody, we do have a QR code. Please scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Mr. Don.
Thank you, Mr. Mack. And Mr. Zach Brown has a look what's going on in sports.
Our athlete of the week playing for a shot to go to a state championship game. I'll have that in sports. Our athlete of the week shined on both sides of the ball that led to one of the biggest upsets of the week, and he's getting ready for a big game today. Here's the star out of Ganado. Ganado star Dylan Holt came up huge in the regional round against the Refugio Bobcats. Late in the first half, he had one of his 2 scoop and scores, but his answer will give you insight as to why these guys are the ultimate definition of a team. He gave credit to John Utley, who made it possible. He says he just capped off what Utley got started.
I couldn't have done it with all my team. I mean, obviously, John Utley on the 2 touchdowns, he made the fumble. That John Utley made the play, I just finished it.
His great performance made not just Ganado proud, but his family. His dad was part of the 1996 Ganado team that were state semifinalists, and his father played a big role in those teams, a true full circle moment.
It was cool. They were the first people to do it. Obviously, they were the first Ganado team to start winning games. And I mean, I'm just glad he's proud. That's what made me happy.
He also says if they just do their jobs and play physical, they will win. That is a belief that has carried this team so far this year. The breakaway touchdown that put an exclamation point on the game while also having 2 fumble recoveries and 10 total tackles is why Dylan Holt is your athlete of the week. Really cool stuff out in Jackson County in general. Not 1, but 2 teams looking to go to a state championship game. And what's even more noteworthy, the communities both pulling for each other to get it done.
I actually looked at the map that's out there and available of all the teams that are still left in the state of Texas, and I'm proud to see both Jackson County, Ganado, and Edna representing in our South Texas area. It's just awesome and amazing.
Jackson County has what could be a first, both Ganado and Edna playing this late in the year. And get this, everyone is rooting for one another to bring it home.
Oh, it's wonderful, man. We're really happy for them over there. They got a really good football team. I'm sure they've worked hard to get where they're at, and you know, going and beating Refugio isn't easy to do. So we're pulling for them.
Some residents even decorating their doors saying teams to remember play in December, supporting both the Cowboys and the Indians.
I mean, that's pretty unreal. I mean, they got the upset on Refugio last week. That's pretty cool, seeing some fellow guys in Jackson County succeed, and hopefully we both make it just as far.
Head coach Josh Irvin just proud to be a part of the nice history between the 2 communities.
You got Ganado, you got Edna right down the road, then you got Tidehaven down the road, another 25 minutes that way. And I think it shows that there's really good football in the area, in an area that not necessarily gets looked at statewide.
And of course, Tidehaven looking to punch that ticket to getting to a state championship game as well. They get Dangerfield. Good luck to all 3 area teams. Kickoff for those games in less than an hour.
Thank you, Zach, and we're back in a moment. There's a ceremony today in New York to commemorate the 82nd anniversary of the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. And finally tonight, a wreath-laying ceremony was held at the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum to commemorate the anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. Family members of several survivors of the attack were joined by museum and military officials as part of today's ceremony. Today marks the 82nd anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. The museum commemorated the anniversary with the wreath laying you saw there in the Hudson River. The Intrepid was at Pearl Harbor several times during World War II. And if you want to go somewhere, not a long trip, maybe 3 hours, to the Hill Country in Fredericksburg, they have a fantastic World War II Pacific Museum where they have a submarine, a Japanese submarine that was captured on that morning at Pearl Harbor. That is there.
Well, the fascinating part about it is the admiral, the commander, the top dog of the Navy is from the Hill Country.
Chester Nimitz.
Mr. Nimitz, Chester Nimitz. And it's an amazing story. How did he gather all that knowledge?
Absolutely.
Anyway, folks, there's your forecast. Tomorrow, another warm day, sprinkle possible, but the main event is Saturday afternoon about 4 or 5 o'clock. Cold front will blow through with a little rain. Mostly you'll feel the north wind blowing, and it'll be much chillier beginning on Sunday.
Thank you, Mac, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Have a good one, everybody.